there, folks. Welcome back to Birds of Play. The fall season begins now. Right. I'm John Tyler McCrone, joined by
Logan Anstad.
A new friend and another new friend.
Jarris George.
Just to give a little kind of clarification, Brandon Diaz is normally the co-host for the show, but just for the fall season, we're going to try to switch out with our good friend Logan Anstad. He and I actually created the show, the idea for it anyway, way back in the summer.
Way back when.
It's good to have you, buddy.
Thank you.
It's good to have you.
It's good to be here.
So just kind of throwing ourselves right into the garbage pile. Wednesday, we had two events that are going to be the main things we're going to talk about today. It's going to be the iPhone 7 event and the PS4 Pro. Well, is it the PS4 Pro event or PlayStation event? What would you call it?
The PlayStation mess.
PlayStation.
That's what
the garbage
debacle.
Yeah. The debacle.
No.
Okay. So just to throw in right in the beginning, the iPhone 7 event. We got the new iPhone 7.
Yes.
We got some new things with I think it's called iWork and stuff like that. Mainly, it was the iPhone 7.
A bunch of new software, but the main attraction was the iPhone 7.
Yeah.
So
there's actually a really big feature list of what just generally includes. Can we just throw up the feature list real quick of what it has? Just to kind of give it a rundown, we have a new 12 megapixel camera, which is actually really good.
Yes.
It's a really nice camera, stuff like that. It's a new 4.7-inch Retina HD display, so that's kind of nice. Optical image stabilization, a new home button, water and dust resistant, stereo speakers, a new chip, and of course the thing that a lot of people are kind of sugar-running about, it's the no headphone jack.
No headphones, yay.
No headphone jack.
Yay.
No headphone jack. Do we have the feature list? Throw the feature list up. Jesus. New show, no one knows what to do. Anyway, so I guess the big thing, before we get, because just to kind of give some transparency, I have an LG V10 Android phone. Logan, you have a Samsung.
I have a Samsung S7.
And Jarris, you have
I got an iPhone 5S.
And you have a Note.
I have a Note 4 too. But,
you got both.
It just depends on what I'm feeling at.
It just, But just to get the good stuff, I said the camera before. Camera's good.
Yeah,
it's a 12 megapixel camera. On the 7, is it the 7S or just the 7?
7
Just the
Plus.
Just the
7 and 7 Plus.
Right. On the 7, it's a new 12 megapixel camera. It can shoot in RAW now. It has better stabilization, which is nice, But it's a bit of a better sensor.
It's kind of just like it's a camera. Every phone has been updating their camera. LG has had the modifications for the G5.
Right.
And it's kind of just that thing where the main attraction was, what is the differences between it, not necessarily what is the upgrades, because Samsung S7 is water resistant. It's one of the reasons I got it.
Right.
And it was kind of interesting to watch them pitch this stuff, and I guess Apple products are kind of in a vacuum where because it's new to people who buy Apple products, it's new. I just didn't think it was that much of a leap.
A big thing, right?
Yeah, the ones on the S7S or Plus or whatever it's called.
The 7S, it's the 7 Plus, I think.
It's whatever we're going to call it.
It's the bigger 7. The
yeah.
bigger 7 has the 2 cameras, and that's interesting because
Yeah,
you have the
the
different zoom modes, and that's changing the way iPhones have worked. And
Right.
iPhone,
Because I think it's I think 28 millimeter for the smaller one and a 58 millimeter for the bigger one. So you have different just levels of optical zoom, which is really nice. And there's new focal points and everything. We actually have a picture of the camera specs. If we can throw that up, that'd be great.
Yeah.
If we can get that right. So there's a new sensor and everything. There it is. There's new focal length and quad, all this stuff.
and that's the thing. There are improvements to it, but it's not this huge. People are raving about it and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm there are phones that have had better cameras for a while now.
I will say though, even on the LG the V10, it was promoted as having this is a really good camera, it can shoot in RAW and everything. Comparing it to my friend's 5C, the 5C, sometimes the V10, if I really work at the manual settings and everything, it'll look great. But just shooting random, the 5C always beat it.
You get to a point where eventually everything becomes blurred anyways. I think the biggest thing that I hear a lot of Apple fans really raging about, being very excited with this camera, is the fact that there's only 2-3 other phones on the market with it. I think it's it's the G5, and then also Huawei has one. I think it's a 9P or something like that. With those phones, and then now Apple is able to say, okay, we're at the forefront too. We got this camera because, like you said, Apple users, they're always saying, and I've done it myself. We don't need that. We don't need it. Whatever. Android can have it. You need all that gimmicky stuff, and then really low key, we're upset. There you go. And then when we finally get it, it's oh, see, look at us, man. We got
here,
it.
guys.
We knew we was gonna get it too. We just had to wait and make it better.
But that was my summation of the event. they showed no headphone jack, and I was like, oh great, they're like, it's space saving. Who asked to save that space?
Well, before we get to the headphone jack, I want to get, because that's like the big thing that everybody's mad about, so that'll be the easiest thing. Something that I wanted to hear, especially from the perspective of a iPhone user, is they have a new home button called Taptic Display, which is a really dumb way of rechanging, it's just haptic touch, but they named it Taptic. We have the picture of that too if we want to throw that up. So basically what it is they're removing the mechanical button and just having like a sensor, like a really, granted high quality sensor on the thing, and you just touch that, basically kind of like a fingerprint scanner. And they're gonna do things like, yeah, there it is. You can like do quick actions, you can like access your messages if you touch it a certain way because your thumb's special or whatever. I don't really know.
Your thumb's special.
I don't really know how it works.
The taptic feedback that was going on with the home button, I wasn't thrilled about either.
Right.
When I look at phones, and I'm definitely looking at, they're moving away a lot of times from having buttons on the phones as much as possible. That's why in a lot of Android devices, you see that it's all soft touch keys, or even from then now, it's just all on screen.
Yeah.
I think that offers some innovation, but at the same time, that offers a lot of problems in the future. Because if you drop your phone, something happens to the sensor inside. How reliable is it going to be? Yeah, everybody complains, my mechanical button on my home button stopped working and it broke. That's probably because you were hammering away at it the whole time over the last 2-3 years. You shouldn't have been pressing it that hard in the first place.
That's what I was going to bring up, because like the way a mechanical button works is if you drop your phone, the screen breaks. The button's probably fine, and if the button does break, it's a really cheap fix, because normally it's just the surface actual button gets damaged, the stuff under doesn't get damaged.
It's not a $90 screen replacement.
Right, but if this new thing, the way I think it's going to work is it's just part of the screen, so if you drop your iPhone, and because they're designed to break, because the big conspiracy theory, they want you to buy a new phone, you're going to replace all of it. It's going to be a lot more expensive.
Yeah, or you're going to have to buy a brand new phone if you're home.
Exactly,
Because how are you can't access the rest of the iPhone without the home button, right?
Exactly.
No.
So what are you supposed to do?
I mean, unless they make it like, a little bit more reinforced, which I guess we have to see till it actually comes out. People actually, testing it out, see how that works.
Yeah, with the delays that we have from the jet black color. That
Yeah,
came
exactly.
Out. Did you see that?
They invented jet black, yeah.
Yeah, they invented jet black, and now because they invented jet black, it's delayed to November. It's a great thing. Like, just get a different color.
Yeah. So I guess the big chagrin that everybody's having, I keep saying chagrin, is the fact that the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus only have one port. It's not a USB-C port that everybody wanted. It's still just a Lightning port.
Of course, it's still proprietary.
It's still just proprietary.
They're not going to give anything that you can just...
No, because Huawei had a USB-C port, and Apple's like, no, we can't no, we can't do that. Let's look at the Lightning.
And then people will use the logic, well, what is Huawei? I've never heard of Huawei.
Yeah.
I was like, well, they're one that does it like literally everybody else on the market, who makes it easier so that you don't have proprietary cables. It's the reason why a lot of products fail, but because it's Apple, it's just another way for them to make more money in the long run.
Exactly.
Just to kind of cover like what it actually does, basically it's one port, and you're going to have a bunch of different adapters. Like you're going to have your standard charging cable. You're going to have headphones that have a Lightning port now. You're going to have a lot of different dongles. I love saying that word, dongles. That have the Lightning port connected to them. I actually saw, because that's the dongle is the big thing that I'm worried about, because you said earlier, Apple said that the reason they're doing it is because they're the only company courageous enough to get rid of the 3.5 jack, because they're moving forward with technology.
See,
But basically,
It's a cash grab.
yeah,
It's all it is.
Because what that does is they say, okay, we have this one port, and it's going to be great, it's going to be awesome, but we're going to backtrack on it because here are all the different dongles that you have to buy to use all of your old devices.
There's one in the box that converts it from the Lightning port straight into the 3.5 millimeter jack, because they heard, the rumors came out, and they knew people were going to be mad about it.
And I actually, I saw this just today. It was a Reddit post today. I should have thrown the picture up, but I forgot because dumb. But apparently, Anchor is they're a big port proprietary third-party person for Apple. They're actually the first ones. They announced today that they're making it's a $40 dongle. It's a $40 dongle.
I don't even know what it does.
It's a Lightning port that connects to it, and then it just splits it into two other Lightning ports. So you can charge your phone and listen to music at the same time. Something that literally every other phone can do right now.
So a headphone splitter you can buy for $5 at Walmart.
Yeah.
But this time, because it's for Apple, it costs $40.
Well, no, because a headphone splitter, you can still charge it. That makes it so two people can listen to the headphone.
Right.
This is just so you have the basic ability to charge and listen to your headphones at the same time. And it costs $40 extra.
Oh, you're telling me you don't want to charge your phone and have it playing Bluetooth at the same time?
Exactly.
So that way you can listen to music?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought everybody wanted that.
Like what they did is they said, okay, I like the idea of making it smaller, because I like smaller phones, even though I have this giant thing. It's really thin, and I like that.
It's not. Okay.
It's not that.
There's worse.
I like
all phones are thin.
Yeah.
By 10 years ago.
Nokia
standards.
brick comparison?
Yeah.
But
okay.
I like the idea
Let
of
me just
making it
drop it.
smaller, but the trouble is, and I said this a little while ago, is, okay, yeah, that one device is small in your pocket, but then to have like basic functionality with it, you're gonna have to go into your backpack, pull out 4 different dongles, hook them all up, and make like a stupid IED type thing.
Apple's gonna bring back fanny packs.
The Apple fanny pack.
I bet you it's gonna be the Apple fanny pack. Bluetooth and everything.
Carries all of your dongles in a great waist size strap.
It's a handy bag. You can take it to Disney World. It's like, let me show it off, get my different pins on it.
And like really,
I already call it Apple. If you do it, I want my money.
What about the AirPods though? I saw a lot of controversy around the AirPods. You talk about dongles being awkward, sticking out in front. What are these giant, like, they look like the Destiny character creation things when you had the giant robot ears sticking out?
They're literally the headphones, just cut the cable.
Yeah.
Like if you actually take the Apple EarPods and you cut the cable, that is what they look like.
And
they're $160.
Yeah. They're $160?
$160 for these things. And I'm like, if you wanted to be the leading company, you know, push everybody towards wireless connectivity and everything, why do we still not have wireless charging? That's like the ultimate basics.
How long has Samsung the new standard in Androids is wireless charging. Apple doesn't even have that.
You can even, at least for the phones that don't have it built in, you can put on the back or put on the case or something of the sort, so that way you can do the wireless charging.
Exactly.
Now Apple still is like, nope, we're not touching that.
And going back to the headphone thing, they own Beats now.
Yeah.
What? Just make a Beats model that's like, these are the new, you know, Apple Beats. These
gonna do that.
Perfectly paired with your iPhone, you know. But all they announced was that they would have. They announced 3 wireless Beats products, but they announced the AirPods along with it.
Well, yeah, because the AirPods are for like, because they always, even though it's not really true, they portray Beats as like, oh, if you have an iPhone, you want to listen to like music really, really well,
high quality.
Get Beats. If you don't really care about that, just get the little ones.
But then what is this $160?
Well, that's the thing. The Beats are going to be $300, $400, and people will buy them. But then the other thing I wanted to say about the earbuds is the earbuds,
like the dog. He's jumping out of your ears.
The charge time for the actual buds is, I think, 5 hours, which probably isn't true. It's probably less than that.
On the charge is 5 hours.
On a charge. But what they include with it is this little tube that you keep them in, and that actually has 24 hours charge, and while they're in there, they charge. So once again, it's another thing you got to carry around with you all the time.
Fits great in the fanny pack.
And another thing I wanted to mention is I've been looking for a really, really long time for just in-ear earbuds without a cable. Because I really, really want those because they're really sleek, they're really nice. But the problem is I've been looking for, I think, maybe a year now, maybe a year, 6 months. I haven't found one that actually works. Because what it is you have to have one sending a Bluetooth signal to the phone, and the other one sending either an infrared or another Bluetooth signal to the other one, has connect, and it can't work. Like I've never seen one that works.
We'll find out in 30 years it fries your brain too. It'll be
exactly.
It'll be fantastic.
Like the earbuds are gonna be, I'm gonna call them earbuds. they're gonna be, I think, not Bluetooth. They said infrared. That the little sensors are gonna be infrared, which I don't know what that means.
All I heard was pointless. That's all I heard when they were talking about it. Like, and when I saw it, these are the new AirBud pointless.
AirBud pointless.
It's just, I really just can't fathom how many unnecessary inclusions or exclusions they made in this conference, and how many things were missing from it.
Well, I do want to give them like a little bit of credit. If they can make the earbuds work, that's going to be a major step forward, because that's like the new thing is just having as small as possible audio devices in your ears. Yeah. If they can get that technology to work, I give giant props to Apple, because I haven't found anybody that can make it work.
Now, I've seen a few companies, you know, going in and out of stores and whatnot. I've talked to a few people. They actually have those earbuds that you're talking about, just a solid piece. And I've seen a couple of them that actually work.
Really?
I know I've seen a Motorola.
In both ears or just?
In both ears.
Oh,
Motorola
really?
has the one that worked really well with just the one. And then I think they branched off and made one that works in both. Okay. I know Samsung's working on one, like level something. I don't remember. Yeah. They're working on the pair. I've heard those are pretty good. So I know there are a couple of them that are actually taking off pretty well. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like they kind of, Apple's going to really need to step that up. They're going to really have to sell these earpods because, one, they just look downright ugly. They really do. They look ugly.
They just stick out of your ear.
And it's really noticeable. And if you're going for kind of a, you know, not really a big, just oomphy thing in your ear, like you want to make sure that's actually marketable and it's approachable for a lot of people.
Well, the other good thing, once again, some props to Apple, is they're kind of like the forefront for here's this weird design thing, like here's the phablet phone. Like these came out first on Android, and everyone's like, oh, that's ridiculous, that's garbage, who would want that? And then Apple had the 6 Plus.
That's called fan base.
Fan base, exactly. And they made it popular.
It's not Apple making it popular, it's Apple preaching to Apple people who seem to be blinded by the rest of the industry.
No, the point I was saying is like Apple is the one where they can like push out these weird kind of looking things, kind of like off-base things, like especially the earbuds.
And people eat it
And
up.
they make it like, oh no, this is regular, this is fine, this is standard. And then other companies can release third-party ones that are way better, and people will be like, oh yeah, I'll just use those ones because they're way better, and no one will think I'm an idiot for wearing them. You know. So that's a good thing.
How long do you think it's going to be before we see Belkin earbuds?
3 months.
3 months?
3 months maybe.
Probably less.
They're probably already working on it.
You think? Yeah.
They're probably working on it.
I'm just not sold on it at all because
So
I have how many 3.5 millimeter headphone jacks do we have? And I can't plug it into my car.
Yeah.
I can't
That's
plug it
gonna
into
be
my
a big
car.
one.
anymore.
Those cars that don't have Bluetooth yet, or
Yeah.
that that's gonna be a big one.
There's all 6 in there. Anyway, just we're running out of time on this segment a little bit. My producer's talking to me off mic. That's what I was pointing to. Just overall, general grade of the. I like giving grades on the show. I gave one for all the E3. General grade of the conference. What do you give it?
Without
F to
Super
A.
Mario Runner going in,
We didn't talk
it's a
about that.
D minus.
That doesn't
With
deserve to be
Super
talked
Mario
about.
Runner, C minus.
That doesn't deserve to be talked about.
C minus.
I give it probably the same thing, C minus. If they can make everything work good on, but once again, like they have features that I just don't care about.
I give it a C plus actually.
Hey, you said what?
You know, the thing is just really when it comes down to it, a lot of people, they knew that iPhone wasn't going to look any different.
Yeah.
They are still enraged about missing some of the ports and whatnot, but I think the new processor in the phone, that's really supposed to help speed it up, complementing that the lack of RAM, that kind of stuff. I think the hardware inside is really going to make enough of a difference for people to kind of want to look into it, but most people who have a 6S, they're not going to upgrade.
I think they could have put out a brick on the table and it would have sold like hotcakes.
Yeah, that's very true
So,
also.
I mean,
All
that's
right.
Apple.
Well, we got to take a quick little break here, about a minute. We'll come back talking about the PS4 Pro and the absolute garbage can of a console that it is. We'll see you in a minute, folks.
Oh, great show.
Bye. Break. Fade to black.
You're watching Spinnaker Television.
Attention students! Spinnaker is proud to announce the launch of its new streaming service. Now, no matter where you are on campus, you could watch any Spinnaker movie with just the click of a button for free. So whether you're alone in your dorm, studying in the library, or hanging out with some friends, you will always have some of the best box office hits ready to watch. You can access this streaming site by going to movies.spinnakertv.com and clicking on the movie you would like to watch. So make some popcorn, pull up a chair, and enjoy your movie with Spinnaker Television.
All right, timer started. Hey, folks, welcome back to Birds of Play. That was a good break, wasn't it, guys?
Oh, man, it was
I
great.
love ads.
I had some coffee.
Buy
It was
those
delicious.
things if you can buy them.
Buy
So,
those
going in
all of
to the, so we're jumping out of the Apple garbage pile, face diving into the conference right after that the PlayStation
Hey,
garbage
Sony, it's your
pile.
turn.
Sony, it's your turn. The big thing, really the only thing, because you watched the whole thing, right?
I watched
Logan?
the entire thing
Yes,
and
entire
the
thing.
after conferences and all of it. Yeah.
Besides the new console, PlayStation 4 Pro, terrible name. Was there anything like major that we like kind of auxiliary things we want to get through before we talk about the big thing?
I mean, you had the PS4 Slim officially announced. They've
Okay.
been discrediting it.
Yeah.
Just they discredited it for weeks. It's been out on. It fell off of a truck somewhere and somebody bought it. Something.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
how consoles. It's how consoles always get leaked.
Here is, I guess.
That was real. There's no optical out port, which.
For the Slim?
We'll kind of get into that, but it kind of makes no sense.
Any new specs on the Slim? you
It's
remember?
the exact same
From what I
system
heard, it's
as
the exact same
it's just a
system.
little bit smaller and in my opinion a little bit uglier.
Okay.
You had the Mass Effect Andromeda
Andromeda.
tech test, but it wasn't really gameplay as much as it was showing. But the problem was with the conference too, you couldn't tell the difference with any of this stuff unless you owned a 4K monitor or a TV.
Because everything was
wow.
shot in 4K.
Everything was shot in
and-
4K, so
yeah.
like you won't get the true depth of the. Okay, it was like okay, all right,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
But no, I mean the main focus was the PS4 Pro.
PS4 Pro, which we'll return to that now.
Yeah.
They announced it to. Was there even like a crowd reaction? Like were they even clapping?
Okay, so the crowd reaction, the best way I could describe it was 2005, 2006 E3 press conference Sony.
Yay.
$600, you'll need a second job. But it wasn't because of the price point, it's because
Well, we have the price point and the actual picture of the Pro. If we can throw that up, it's a comparison between, and there it is, the
Yeah.
PS4 and the PS4 Pro. Just has a giant, another block just stapled onto it.
It's
Exactly, yeah.
taller and it's got like another third of thickness added to
Yeah.
it. Besides the fact it's $400 for the 4K editions, but
Yeah.
there's no 4K Blu-ray.
There's no optical drive.
Yeah.
There's no optical drive.
So the Xbox One S offers that at the $299 price point.
Yeah.
So that was a big flub.
I think a smaller package too.
Yeah, and I just, like I said, watching it was like watching the 2006 E3 press conference because it was just like, Sony, what are you doing? Like in 2013 when they revealed the PS4, it was this magnificent thing. People were raving. And then even at E3 this year, Crash Bandicoot Remastered and Death Stranding and all these games, and people were just leaping out of their seats for this stuff. I got crazy for the Crash Bandicoot Remastered. I was like, yeah, it's all about games. And this was about, you can play the games you have now if you have a 4K monitor, if you want to spend another $400. Also, we're releasing VR. Also, here's this console again, it's big. So there was nothing exciting, there was barely any applause to anything that was happening.
No applause.
The entire conference. It was just a sad, it was a sad room to be in and a sad thing to watch, to be honest.
So before we talk about the specs that I'm getting to right now on my phone, like an issue that I don't know if everyone will know why, like, oh, why do you need a Blu-ray optical port, you know, if you can just stream 4K video? The problem with that is, like, have you guys seen 4K, like a whole, like not like a test demo, like a full, like an actual episode of the content?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen most of the movie 4K.
Yeah. Did you stream it or was it like a DVD or like tech demo, like if you remember?
DVD.
DVD.
Yeah.
DVD.
And when you stream it, it's not the same quality.
That's what I was gonna say.
it gets
When you
downgraded.
when you stream 4K, it downgrades to such a low quality, a low resolution. It barely looks like like it still looks
like
better,
2K.
but it's not as good as 4K on optical drive. So that's like the big.
You're not getting
thing.
what you pay for. That's
No,
essentially
no,
what
no.
it really
Because the
boils
hard
down
disk
to.
is a direct read of it. When you're streaming it, you're getting something that is condensed down and then brought back up for your
Exactly,
television.
yeah.
So it's not going to be of the same quality and caliber that you have, and that's
huge
what
negative.
people are really upset
Yeah.
about right now. But there was things in there that I'm more upset about. This was unneeded. PlayStation is on a roll. You're selling 40 million consoles. Like, it's literally the fastest selling console ever to this point. Like, PlayStation 2 sold like 150 million. You know, the DS sold like 120 million plus. You know, it hasn't reached those numbers yet, but it's on pace to be like the best-selling home console still. And you just provided a roadblock essentially because you're introducing this piece of hardware that just it's unnecessary.
Well,
There
I
is
think-
no reason to put it in.
I think the big thing about it, though, if they would have not drilled this up or at least built up the hype into thinking that they were going to get something new out of it, they would just said, you know, PlayStation has a knack for putting out new consoles, or not even new consoles, but revamps of them.
knack.
You know, put,
A knack,
put-
yeah.
oh Lord, don't bring that game up.
Knack 2 coming soon.
But if they would go and they would just be upfront, you know, like they knew that PlayStation 3 was going to get a slim edition, which they ended up getting like 3 different editions. They knew PlayStation 2 and 3 were going to have those, you know, growth in just design more so than anything. They would have said up front, all right, PlayStation fans, what we're going to do, you don't have to do anything with your new PlayStation. If you want to dish out the extra money, cool, but all we're doing is just revamping like we're normally going to do. We're not going to put out something, we're not going to get your hopes up, because that's what lets, you know, most of the people get really upset, and they look at this. If you don't know spec-wise, which we're going to jump into, there's very few things, if anything at all, that really makes somebody look at it like, oh, I'll get rid of my PlayStation.
If
now,
you
get
don't
another one.
have a 4K TV, there's
It's
literally no
pointless.
point to
It's
owning this
zero.
console.
It's zero use.
And going back to what you said about like making a big deal about it, they flew out journalists to New York. They set up this entire huge meeting. They advertised it for a month, and they did an hour-and-a-half live stream where they brought out Mark Cerny, who's like the PS4 architect. He's the man you bring out when something magical is about to happen.
Right.
And he talked about
carrying this giant
how
briefcase.
your graphics will be better. Here's the PlayStation. Well, Andrew House comes out.
Yeah.
Here's the PlayStation 4K.
Drops it 'cause it's
and
just
he's
so
like,
heavy.
it's a gigantic box that
Yeah.
nobody asked for.
Well, one thing
Yeah, exactly. It's huge.
One thing I want to talk about a little bit, just we have the specs. If you could just like throw that up for a couple of seconds. It's a lot of chagrin. If you want to read all of this, just pause your screen and look into all that. Take that down, it's garbage. So I just wanted to compare a little bit the PS4 Pro to the Xbox One Slim or the X, because people are all getting on it because it's 4K video capability isn't the same as the Slim because they don't optical port and stuff like that. If you don't 4K TV, it's bad. But just talking about like the straight actual console, it is actually way powerfuler than the PS4 or the Xbox One Slim. Like it has an 8-core AMD Radeon Jaguar The Slim has something similar, but I think this one's going to be a bit more powerful just in the hertz they can put out. A big price point for the Slim is, they said, it has 1.4 teraflops of programming power, graphics processing power, which is a lot.
If I remember, though, that 1.4 is supposed to be the same as the regular PS4, isn't it? The PS4 and the Slim is the same.
That's what I'm saying. Like, here's the thing. For the average consumer, none of that matters.
It does.
Yeah, that's if you don't know specs, it's not gonna matter.
Well, because here's the thing: the PS4 Pro is, I don't know if this is true, but it's advertised as having 4.2 teraflops of power. And granted, you don't even know what that means, but like just know if you have a 4K TV and you have like a game that just outputs a 4K natively, it's gonna look way better on the PS4 than it's gonna look on the Slim. It's gonna run way better on the PS4 than on the Slim. You're gonna have bigger games on the PS4 Pro because it has the graphics processing power to handle it.
That was another thing that came out of the conference, though, is that you saw developers who weren't on board with this completely, right?
Yeah.
So you saw that they're trying to, the term that Sony used was forward compatibility. So everything that's come out is going to work on PS4 Pro, and some of it will be better, enhanced on PS4 Pro. The problem is, developers would have to make 2 versions of a game.
Exactly.
And because you already have 40 million on the regular PS4 and the PS4 Slim player base, you're not going to cater to the PS4 Pro, which is definitely not going to sell as much. So all you're going to have on the PS4 Pro, in most cases, first parties are going to differ. You're going to have an up-res game. You're not going to have a game built for the PS4 Pro.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I know, like for PC games and everything, you know, like the scaling to your specs and everything really isn't that much of a change. But that's, at least for me, that's just like HD quality. It's not 4K quality. I don't know, like, have you ever seen, like, I don't think any of us have seen a game where it's made for a 4K device and then goes to an HD device. Like, I have no idea what that looks like.
I'd imagine it'd just be just like a movie. If you have a 4K movie, but your TV is not going to be able to support it or whatnot, it's going to go to native 1080. So it's still going to look good and it's going to run effectively.
If they make, if the first party game developers and even the third party make it for PS4 Pro first.
PS4 Pro.
PS4, oh Lord.
Pro. And then make it like in 4K first and then just downgrade it. That's gonna be way better than making it for the old console and upgrading.
But the problem is that's not what Sony's policy is on this.
Really?
Their policy is that you're making it for the PS4 and then it's upgraded. Because that was the whole point, because they're worried about splintering the player base.
Yeah.
Because they had to get that. That's the one thing they did do right. They did get the message that the player base is not going to be splintered. It's all going to be on one community. Because my issue when I was watching the conference is, are you making 2 separate resolutions for these games? And if we're playing on the same multiplayer, like, are they going to be 2 different servers, 2 different resolutions? Because they had that issue when Destiny came out, I remember in 2014. They're like, our PS3 and PS4 players are going to be able to play together. And you know, Bungie said no because literally on PS4, the size of the headshot marker would have been double.
Yeah.
So like, it raises these questions of like,
360 no scope.
yeah, are you going to have, are you going to have this competitiveness go away and everything? So, I love Sony. Like, I'm a PlayStation guy, and you know, it's just my 2 main things were most console players don't care because they don't have the 4K, and what does this do for games? Like, we've been getting prettier games for the past 10 years, but how much have games changed? VR is what I think is going to be the big game changer, right? Because that's a whole new way of playing, and you may not agree or whatever, but like when you have a VR headset on, it's a new level of immersion. You can do different things. Like, it's a different way to play. I've been getting the same prettier game, Far Cry 3 to Far Cry 4. Far Cry 4 was a prettier Far Cry 3. Did I enjoy it anymore? Not really. It was a prettier game. I liked it, but it's not.
That's just Ubisoft being garbage.
But here's what I'm saying is a prettier game doesn't make a better game.
To some people.
To some people.
That is some people. When you look at sports series franchises.
Console players.
Most console players, they honestly don't care.
Most console players don't, know the difference. To be totally honest, because I had consoles for forever. I just recently started playing PC, and then now I'm just like, oh, is this what everybody's talking about? And then when I go back to consoles, and if I play Overwatch on the PC, and I'm like, okay. I go back over there to PS4 or whatever, and I'm just like, I can't do this.
It just melts in your hands.
I look at it and I'm just like, that's too dark. I can't do this.
The one thing I agree with, like, I'll play Grand Theft Auto Online, right, and I'll see the difference in that. But at the end of the day, like, I'm gonna keep playing where my friends are at. And right now they're on PS4. If PS4 Pro somehow screws that up, it's gonna
splinter the community.
It was just such an unnecessary conference.
Let's bring it down a little bit. We're running kind of short on time, so. we're stepping out of the second garbage bin. We're just covered in taptic sensors and
Oh my goodness.
4K TV parts.
Lacking
and
headphone
just
jacks.
Lacking
and-
headphone jacks, and we're stepping on a little cardboard box outside of it known as Call of Duty. Getting stuck in our foot. Logan, you bring, this is your topic, you want to bring it up.
So over the weekend, you had Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered multiplayer revealed, and people had been waiting for this. You know, they had the big COD XP event. To say it lightly, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare is Black Ops 3 and Advanced Warfare combined, which to some people, if you started playing at Advanced Warfare and you like it, this is great because this is like an improvement. They're adding more features. It's just on top of that. To everybody else who's been playing since way back when, this is not. It's not what we wanted. The rigs are cool, which are, you know, it's kind of like in Black Ops 3 where you have the specialists, so they each have their own weapon. There's a lot of customization in the game. The two biggest things that concern me are the weapon variants that come in the form of crafting weapons, because, you know, this is Destiny or The Last of Us or something, right? We're crafting weapons. It's obviously going to be a microtransaction fest because of it.
That's Call of Duty.
That's Call of Duty.
And two,
I thought that was pay to win. I thought that's what we.
but see,
what
like,
we did here.
until Advanced Warfare introduced supply drops, and they originally introduced it as just a way to retain the player base over the time, you know, because you hit that 7-month period with Call of Duty, and then people just fall off playing it. And then the second bad thing that was really bad about it was just like,
I got the air quotes ready. Say air quote.
it's in space!
And it's the death. What's the death of?
The death of 3D
3D
movement.
movement.
So back in 2014, you had Titanfall come out, you had Destiny come out, and you had Advanced Warfare come out.
Great year.
All of which
Good year.
saw their multiplayer bases drop pretty drastically within
Bad
their
year.
first month of
Oh,
release. You can argue whether you like those games or not. Those games lost player bases. Now, it could also be attributed to the fact that the campaigns for Titanfall and Destiny weren't good at the time. But Advanced Warfare's campaign was my favorite Call of Duty
good.
campaign out of anything.
What's
Kevin
the-
Spacey.
Yeah.
Hey, that was an unlikely, like, how that it was ridiculous.
It was a great camp, but the problem is, we look, just the way humans work is we look left and right for threats, right? We don't look up and down. So I remember playing the Advanced Warfare DLC in this map that's 5 stories tall, and I'm jumping on these apartment complexes, and I'm having to look straight up with my gun. It's literally that thing when you would see trolling videos on YouTube with people going, where are they? Where are they? With a sniper. And like, that's literally all it was. And like, people are sick of that. And Black Ops 3 toned it down and it was better, but what we saw when Modern Warfare Remastered was revealed at the exact same event is people lost their mind.
They loved
it. They
it.
wanted it.
Yeah.
It's a game that most of us have already played. I mean, some of the younger kids probably shouldn't even be playing the game or haven't played it before, but it's
There you
like,
go.
that was the thing people wanted. And there's rumors that Sledgehammer Games, who developed Advanced Warfare, is going to be going back in time to do World War II. But right now, this Call of Duty isn't even out, and we're already looking towards the next one because we're so disappointed in what's happening. The main draw of Infinite Warfare is going to be if you're ponying up the extra $20. If you're
Which they will.
If you're ponying up the $20 and you're buying Modern Warfare Remastered, because I wasn't going to pre-order it, and then I saw Modern Warfare Remastered
And then you
gameplay,
do.
and then I gave in. I really did. But if they add supply drops or microtransactions into Modern Warfare Remastered that are game-changing, like new guns, I don't care. They can add new maps. That would be great. I'd pay for those. If they add anything besides camos, or like they have a taunt system
Like
now in the game,
cosmetic stuff,
if they add in
basically.
anything besides cosmetic, I'm going to be furious, and the community is going to be too.
Yep.
Well, you gotta look at it. The biggest thing is nostalgia. That's always gonna win out no matter what. So I remember when they released and they talked about, oh yeah, we're gonna have Modern Warfare Remastered or whatnot. Everybody lost their mind because one, Modern Warfare, probably 2 is arguably one of the best Call of Duty games ever. I favor 3 a little bit more myself. But for that series though, that really set kind of like the tone for FPSs, especially in that time frame and that generation. So when you look at everybody who does interactively play Call of Duty, Battlefield, all these FPSs that you end up playing, if you have anything versus Modern Warfare is always going to win. They're going to pony up and pay that
that's the thing
extra
this
money.
week too, because you had the Infinite Warfare reveal versus the Battlefield 1 beta that came out, and like the beta got off to a rough start because the servers went down or anything.
Oh, of course.
But like I played Battlefield 1 and I was just like, okay, this is great. Like, this is boots on the ground. It's simplistic. For some people, the historical accuracy is just, but it's
We'll talk about that a little
it's
bit
what
more
people
detail.
wanted,
Yeah.
and this going into space in 21, whatever the year is not what people wanted for
21
Call of
cares.
Duty.
Tomorrow? Huh?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Wow! No, but obviously Modern Warfare Remastered and that style of play, the
Yeah.
boots on the ground is what people wanted, and we're just not going to get it that year with the new Call of Duty.
Right. So you really said like kind of all the plot points that I said with your little soapbox thing. Sorry to chagrin you a little bit, but I will say one thing.
I'm fine with it.
I don't know about the Desert 3D movement because Attack on Titan game just came out and people are loving it.
Yeah, I've heard good things
But
about
it's
that.
Attack on Titan.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. So anyway, that was our first fall season episode of Birds of Play.
There you go.
We got our new co-host, Logan Anstead, our new guest maybe next week, possibly
We'll
a
see
couple
what's
weeks
going
later. We're looking good.
We'll have people jump in and out.
Check us out on Friday. We're on the Campus Channel Network, channel 170 at 7. We're on YouTube at Spinnaker TV. It's
Television.
youtube.com/Spinnaker Television.
Yes.
Check us out. We'll put that up probably around 7 too. So we'll see you next week, folks, at Friday. The same fun hour, same fun time. John's Tyler McCrone.
Logan Anstead.
Jarris George.
Signing off. Bye, everybody. Wave. Guys, wave.
Oh, bye.
Look at that camera.